Welcome to the Hormone Hub, your go-to source for the conversations every woman in her 40s and 50s needs to have. I'm your host, Kylie Pinwell, your nutritionist helping you navigate your way through perimenopause, menopause and beyond so you can say goodbye to endless fatigue, unexplained weight gain, hot flushes, PMS, mood changes and more that come on this hormonal roller coaster. If you missed the memo or think this is only for women of a certain age, ladies, it's time to think again. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my latest episodes, which are released every week. Share it with your friends, your sweaty sisters. The more we talk, the more we help each other. Hello and welcome back to the Hormone Hub. Today we are going to talk about unleashing your libido. Now, lack of libido is something that comes up in conversation all the time. And, some women are just not feeling it. Okay, I get it. And, there's a few different reasons for this. So today I just want to give you a few different ideas about what can be causing that lack of libido and also to what you can do about it. So, there's a few sort of different areas and few different angles that we can come from with this. So yeah, I'm just going to tap into some of those just to give you some idea. All right. So as our hormones sort of shift and change, definitely 100%, we experience a drop in testosterone, we experience a drop in estrogen, and also that drop in progesterone. And all of these have an impact. But, on the flip side of that, what also has an impact is, it's a busy time of life. Like if we are juggling kids and jobs and partners and parents and, all of the things, we're just a bit tired, so that's a factor. As well as, just are we really feeling it? Maybe we're not. Maybe we're just not into our partner anymore, So all of these different things. So today I'm just going to try and bring it all together. Now, in a few weeks' time, I do have a specialist coming in, and she is a specialist in urogenitary health. So we're going to talk about the health aspects with her, and we'll just touch on it today. But, it's more about, what you can do right here and now. All right. So when we are not feeling it, okay, so maybe the sex drive has left the planet. Maybe it is just zero. Maybe it's painful for us, or maybe we want to, but it's just not happening. Okay, so around, that perimenopause, menopause, this is where it's really common for women to experience, some form of sexual dysfunction. And likewise for men too. So let's just put on the flip side that, men go through their own hormonal changes. So there is 100% a drop in testosterone, which, that drop in testosterone can impact, yes, sexual function for sure, but it can also affect their self-esteem. And it can also, a lot of men experience depression around, that sort of menopause or andropause, as it's called, so they've got their own stuff going on as well. So it's good to be, while we don't have to fix them, it's good to be aware that, yes, they have hormonal changes as well. So, like the saying goes, it takes two to tango, right? Okay, so let's just have a chat about, first up, if things are painful. So this is an obvious one. So that drop in estrogen leads to a drop in lubrication. So this can be obviously our vagina. Some women notice a lack of lubrication in their joints, eyeballs, dry skin, dry hair. It's all part of the same sort of thing. So, so to improve the comfort of, sex if intercourse is painful. So a few suggestions would be, try different positions. So experiment what feels best for you. Definitely, get checked out. So, this is where a pelvic physio specialist can be really helpful, but also too, like if things have suddenly become painful, it's definitely worth checking out. So again, it could be caused by, hormone fluctuations, could be caused by, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, so all of these things need to be sort of examined because you want to make sure that there's nothing underlying. Now, a pelvic physio can be amazing. I have a pelvic physio and she has seriously changed my life. So if you are, these pelvic physios, you don't need a referral, and they specialise in women's gynecological and pelvic floor health. So if you, accidentally do a little wee when you cough or sneeze or laugh, then it's worth getting checked out. And really, the sooner you get onto it, the better. So, incontinence, which, starts with the little wee, is the number 2 reason for women being admitted to nursing homes. Okay, number 1 being dementia, number 2 being incontinent. So you don't have to put up with it, and nor does it necessarily mean you're headed straight for a hysterectomy either. So there's lots of pessaries they can use, there's exercises that they can give you. And I was surprised actually, because I had done, when I had the kids, I'd done all of the, the pelvic floor exercises, all of the prenatal Pilates and whatnot. But the exercises she gave me were actually very different to what I had done, 18 years ago when I had the kids. So it's worth getting checked out, and get that support and get that, opinion. And it's a good way too, because you don't have to wait forever to find a gynecologist to get into. You can get answers right there and then on the spot, and actually practical solutions as well. Definitely, I recommend using a lubricant if things are feeling dry, but go for like a water-based. So we don't want synthetic ingredients. So you don't want propylene, you don't want glycol, you don't want perfumes, you don't want parabens. You want something water-based without those nasty chemicals. So an Australian brand that I recommend is Yes. And you can buy it online, I think, from... Google it and it'll tell you where you can buy it. It's just called Yes. And then, another thing to kind of, boost your interest and your desire is get active. Okay. So there's studies that show there's a clear link between exercise, sexual desire, arousal, and satisfaction. Okay. And don't just overlook the power of, going to the gym and working out, maybe exercise with your partner, and, going down to like a really cool fundamental reason is, women can be aroused by smelling their partner's sweat. Okay. Now, we may not know this, but it's the, or consciously think, oh, duh, bit on the nose, let's go. It doesn't work like that. It's the pheromones that are released, your pheromones and your partner's pheromones. So, it's those chemical changes, that can promote arousal as well. There's different yoga poses that can help increase blood flow to your pelvic area. So these can certainly help as well. So, so there's sort of some of the physical sort of reasons, but then, if we look at some of the emotional reasons as well, but, and this is sort of different for all of us. And I think going back to that, we are just in a busy time of life is, look at your relationship. If you're consistently focusing on keeping things alive and hot, it can be alive and hot. Whereas if we don't, we just can easily fall into a rut where life takes over and, and that connection that we have with our partner can definitely suffer. So, and I think, for so many women, when we're serving as a mum, household coordinator, our jobs, our roles in and out of the workplace, no wonder the energy for sex can be low, and it would be for anyone. Okay. So sometimes, there's sexual health counsellors out there that can help, or just set aside some time, generally 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday is not going to be an ideal time. So maybe, there is time that you can set aside. This Hormone Hub episode is sponsored by The Well-Balanced Woman. If you've been on a hormonal roller coaster, feeling bloated, your digestion isn't the best, and you know you're sick and tired of feeling lethargic with your weight creeping up, then this is the right program for you. I'm right there with you across the 12 weeks to hold your hand, and I'll give you a loving kick up the bum if you need it. The Well-Balanced Woman is your personalised 4-phase program created to help you regain your energy, balance your hormones and fire up your metabolism so you get the results you're after. The link with all the details is on our show notes or over at kyliepinwell.com/wellbalancedwoman. Now, there are definitely, physical things as well. So we've already talked about, that drop in estrogen and that dryness, can contribute to painful sex. But definitely, things like, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, relationship issues, there's certain medications, and just those natural changes in our bodies after, before, during, and after menopause can all lead to, low libido in women. So definitely, get a checkup. Be sure to sort of share your symptoms with your doctor. Things like, bioidentical hormones can certainly help. So estrogen, testosterone can help some women. And again, it's different for everyone. So you need to sort of have a look into what is it that is going to work for you. You might have to try different things. Things like ginseng has been long used as an aphrodisiac. Zinc is a good nutrient to include. We've all heard about oysters being an aphrodisiac as well. Things like if you're perimenopausal, sort of, having chaste berries can help, because that can help sort of increase your natural progesterone and dopamine levels, which are all part of it. So, and it's also good to be aware, and I'm just going to touch quickly on this, that, that decline in estrogen, it does bring about, changes. So hot flushes doesn't make us feel comfortable, doesn't make us feel sexy. It can bring about mood changes if we've got low energy, but also having that change in estrogen can bring along with it changes in, our vaginas and urinary infections and irritations. So vaginal atrophy is a really sexy term. It clearly came up with, I couldn't imagine a woman ever coming up with that name, but let's just assume it was a dude who named it that. And what that means is it's a degeneration of the healthy cells and the tissues in the vagina. So these are cells that are normally stimulated by estrogen, and they help support, the healthy vaginal microbe colonies as well. So this is where, things like bacterial vaginosis can be really prevalent in women going through menopause, and it's due to that drop in estrogen. So again, it's important if these are recurrent infections, you want to be swabbed. So you want to know, like if you're having recurrent thrush, is it actually thrush? So if we think of thrush as a fungal infection, and, we're treating it as such, but often, with women, what I've found is, with recurrent thrush, if you've been through menopause, it is actually because thrush thrives with estrogen. So if you've been through menopause, you've got that lower level of estrogen, and it could well be that it's bacterial vaginosis. So that's where it's always good to swab so we can treat things correctly. Urinary symptoms like urinary tract infections, that frequency, burning, pain associated with urinating, all associated with vaginal health and that hormone imbalance. So this is where, we need to know what's going on so we can treat it correctly. And so there are lots of different things that, we can use to treat it both naturally and pharmaceutically as well. So, so I hope this helps. I just sort of wanted to put it out there because I know libido is a hot topic that comes up from time to time, well, pretty much weekly, really. And it's something that, it doesn't mean the end of the end of sexy time. It doesn't mean that your fun sexual days are done. It doesn't mean that at all. But it just does mean that if you are experiencing pain or discomfort or, lack of arousal, and, this is something, that we should all have the option to enjoy. So, yeah, I just want to make sure that you've armed with the knowledge so you can head off in the right direction and do something about it. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you next week. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. You can head on over to the show notes at kyliepinwell.com/podcast, where you'll find all the links, and I have a little bonus surprise waiting for you. Before we go, it would mean the world to me if you head on over to your favourite podcasts channel, subscribe and leave a review. Make sure to screenshot it, DM it to me so I can thank you personally. Then stay tuned for next week's episode. Can't wait to see you there.